Hey again, everybody. This is John from Audio Depot. Welcome to Sound Advice. I've got my good buddy here, Dan Greenwood from Alpine Electronics. Say hi, Dan. Yay, Dan's here.
Hello, how are you?
All right. So there have been some really, monumental improvements with technology lately, and Alpine is at the forefront as usual. And I went to training last week. We went to training last week about a certain amplifier. It's called a PXE C8088 or the Optimate. Okay, this little baby can do quite a few things. It's a regular amplifier, and is it 8 channels?
Yes.
Okay, and each channel is roughly, was it 50 watts?
There's 50 watts by 6
Okay.
and 150 by 2.
150 by 2.
Yep.
Okay, that's right there very impressive, and it's clean and it's good Alpine quality. But it also has a DSP, audio processor, with the ability to auto-tune.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to hand this over to Dan and kind of explain to everybody, in a really easy way, why that's so cool and important, and why if you just use the 4 steps,
Yep.
you will have a fantastic sound in your car.
Yep. So, just like you said, it's kind of like a DSP amplifier for the masses in a way.
Yes.
Because its price point is very aggressive. It's not
$2,000.
Yeah, it's not overly expensive, and it's very, very capable. It sounds great, and most importantly, it takes a lot of the hard work out of tuning the vehicle for you. And I kind of go into a little depth here in a minute about
4
how.
basic steps.
Yep. So, we'll start off by what this guy is. It's like John said, it's an 8-channel amplifier and an 8-channel DSP all in one. And you can use this thing as a standalone system amplifier, or you can build up and have your own amps off of this, or kind of mix the two.
Yeah.
It's up to you what you want to do. So like if you're saying, hey, I need a little more than 50 watts per channel, you can totally rock external amplifiers. No problem. No problem at all. So you can go through and set that up, and you can integrate. It does have high level input, 8 channels, so you can integrate for a factory system, because as we all know, can't change out radios in every car.
It's
getting
tougher every day.
It's getting tougher and tougher, and I to kind of give you guys an idea of how our industry is going and how us as a manufacturer, how we're changing everything. Alpine's known for head units, right?
Yes.
We've been known for head units forever.
1978.
Yeah, and we still make our head units. We still make some great options.
Excellent head units. Yeah.
But when you think about, and I use this example at the training the other night, we have one single DIN head unit now.
Yes.
We have one. We have, let's count the DSPs. We have the Optimate.
Yes.
We have the 850X.
Yep.
We have the D90, which is the status.
Yes.
We also have the X09, which is a big 16-channel DSP. It's pretty awesome.
Sweet.
Right? And we also have the F1 status DSP.
Right.
That's 5.
Yeah.
So
what's that telling you?
Yeah. So you kind of get an idea of the direction.
Yes.
Of where we're going, and we're definitely focusing more on the integration and audio options. Because luckily, you can't change out the head unit, but at least the car still sounds horrible.
Yeah.
So we can, they're still not going to put much into the speakers and the amplifiers.
No.
And that's
these car manufacturers are into features.
Yeah, that's right.
Navigation, Bluetooth streaming. The problem is that they don't want the customer to blow up the door speakers.
Yep.
So they take out the bass.
Absolutely.
So in the past, you would just put in a subwoofer or 2 in the trunk, and then you dealt with it. Okay. Well, now you don't have to. Now you can put this amp in there, and you can tune it, and tell them how to tune it.
So the tuning is really cool.
Yes.
We'll start for you purists out there, like me, who like to manually tinker. You still have that capability. So you still have your full crossover suite, high pass, low pass filters per channel. You can any channel's full range. You can make them do whatever you want. You still have 31 band parametric EQ per channel.
Per channel.
Which actually every one of our DSPs has 31 band parametric per channel, except for one. The F1 status DSP has 34 band parametric EQ because it goes up to 40K.
Yes.
That's another unique thing. So that's a whole topic for maybe another day.
Another show.
Yeah. So you still have all that, of course, with all your delay settings that you'd expect. So you can time alignment, delay, whatever you want to call it. Now, the other really cool trick up the sleeve here is the auto EQ, and we call the auto tuning. So what this does is it allows us. There's 2 different ways we can use this. One is we can use a microphone kit. just plugs right in the DSP.
Right.
And it's all part of the software suite. We run what's called a bunch of sine sweeps.
Yes.
And it actually, takes measurements and then auto EQs. But it does it in a really unique way. One, there's two ways we can do it. One is that microphone.
Right.
The other one that's really cool, and something that most people already have. They already have the tool they need in their pocket.
Yep.
It's one of these. So for right now, it's iPhone only, because an iPhone 10 and higher, because we know what microphones are in here. So they're already calibrated. We already know what they can do. They're actually really capable microphones.
They're excellent.
They're actually pretty astonishing what you can get out of them.
Right.
So, and there's an app. It's free. And you just
you walk around. You move your phone to several different places in the car.
That's right.
Now,
so
I was really impressed when you came by the other day, and we did a little Facebook Live deal. Okay, we were both like, here's the box, here's the amp, da da da. So we went. We really liked it.
Yeah.
Then I went to training, and Eric.
Yes.
He tuned the room. He had two 6.5-inch speakers inside some cans, like you would find on a not like an ATV or something.
Yeah, they're literally our side-by-side can speakers.
They're just side-by-side cans. They're decent.
Yeah.
So he turns it on and says, okay, here's a song. And it was like, okay, doesn't sound so good. No bass. It was just kind of tinny. It was just, it was kind of like your basic loud speaker. Nothing SQ about it at all. No sound quality.
Yeah.
He takes his phone. Eric walks around the room. 2 minutes?
2 minutes.
About 2 minutes. Walks up and down. And only walks half of the room.
Yeah, that's right.
So he walks down. 3 tables. There's 6, 8 tables in the room. He walks around, turns it off, walks back, plays the same exact speaker, same song with this amplifier, and my God, it sounded like there was one kid in a sitting in his room with a piano or whatever, and then it sounded like a 132-piece orchestra in the Sydney Auditorium. I mean, you're sitting there, you're going, what just happened here?
Yeah.
Full mids, full highs, and as much bass as you could get out of that 6.5.
Yeah, that's right.
It corrected all the surface problems, because there are so many limitations when you're dealing with human bodies, tables, and then the reflection of all, the different types of material. You have a drop ceiling, you have, concrete, whatever.
Yeah, and tiled floor.
Yeah. Oh my God. And I just went, holy crap, man. This went from shit to it. Excuse my French, but that's the best way to
absolutely.
I mean, it went from nothing to everything.
Yep.
And I just was sold.
Yep.
And we are all blown away with how good this sounds. Yep. And we did it with an iPhone.
Yeah. So going around, we talked about Eric going around the room.
Yes.
So this one of the other very unique things about how this gets its information and does its tuning. So typically when you're tuning a DSP, you use what's called SPL measurement at one point. You set your microphone in the driver's seat, for example, where a head would be, and you EQ it, right?
Okay.
So we got the information, we got the frequency response to the vehicle, and that one point. Now, we don't sit in that one point, unfortunately. Right. We also might have a passenger in the car.
That's true.
So what we do is we're actually going to take 200 measurements. 200. And it takes 2 minutes. So it does a lot of measurements very quickly.
Sure.
And what it's doing is it's doing a bunch of what's called a sine sweep in the background, which is just your low frequency all the way up through the spectrum. So it sounds like a whoop sound. It's real quick. Right? And I know Eric had I heard
everybody
you guys in the room.
Everybody was making their favorite sound sine sweep.
It's actually become my third favorite song. So what you do is, it's taking the sweeps, and you're literally let's assume I'm sitting in the driver's seat and you're in the passenger seat. Right. You take your microphones in your phone, and you'll see the frequency response on your screen.
Right.
And you just move it around.
Yeah.
You move it around, and we kind of cover the front area of the vehicle, where the driver's sitting, where the passenger sits, and you just move it around over the 2 minute period, and then it will stop whenever it's done. And then on the screen, you'll see the frequency response of the car.
Yep.
In real time, it'll actually take an average of those 200 measurements.
Yep.
Apply it. It's also doing phase correction in the background, which is really important. So, like, for example, a lot of people have said, hey, it's only 50 watts. But, 50 watts in phase sounds a lot louder. Now to clarify what I mean by that, without getting too nerdy, so, right, is when things are not in phase, if you sit in your car right now, you don't have a DSP, everything is going to hit you out of phase. Everything. That's why you can tell where speakers are, because you're not sitting not middle, you're not having equal distance, right?
Yeah.
So
because this speaker's closer than that.
Exactly, and they're all facing different,
and they're doing like it's the worst environment.
It's the absolute. And it's funny when I tell people this in our industry, is we make sound in the worst environment imaginable.
Yeah, as it's moving
yes.
down the road
yes.
with road noise.
Yep. And I'm going to come back to that in just a moment. So just keep that in mind. The worst environment imaginable, right? So we're correcting on the phase, but when everything hits you together, what do you need to get double? You need 3 dB is double power, right?
Right.
So 50 watts together, it's like another 3 dB gain.
Yep.
In a way. So those 50 watt channels might sound more like 100 watt.
Yeah.
So it sounds a lot more powerful.
Clean.
And it's clean.
In phase.
Yes, in phase. So,
I mean, and these things it's very difficult to do.
It's very difficult to get right.
Yeah,
Most guys can't do it. And then when you're done, you go when you're on the app, and then you can apply what EQ curve you want. So you're not locked into what we think.
You can literally touch the screen and change the curve.
That's right.
And you'll have exactly what you've always wanted.
That's right. And while you're doing that, your music is playing.
Yes.
You'll hear it in real time in the background, and you can make your adjustments. And you say, I'm happy.
If you need any more information than that, you can go to alpine-usa.com. And Eric's got.
Yeah. And we do have, and also we have a YouTube channel. We do have video as well. True. And Eric's actually did the video on this.
Oh, man. This was the most fun I've had at a training in years, with the best product, with the best people. And we took a room that sounded like a tin can and made it sound like like the Mormon Tabernacle choir hall.
And I'll tell you one thing, that this thing was not designed to tune that room.
No.
And those cans were not meant to sound like that.
Yeah.
But it worked.
But it took the god awful noise and made it sound like a symphony.
That's right.
It was just beautiful.
It's pretty cool. Yep. And it kind of goes back to what I was talking about, the worst environment, right?
Yes.
This thing, what it's doing, what I've always told people, the bare bones point of a DSP in a vehicle is to delete the sound of the vehicle from your music.
Yes.
And that's basically what you're trying to get, right? To where you're sitting in front of a live performance symphony or nice 2-channel audio system.
Just
and
new,
just
stuff.
And that's what that auto EQ is doing. And that screen is removing all the imperfections and frequency anomalies in the car and phasing problems, correcting them, and then you just get to enjoy your music now.
Yes.
Yep. And
uninterrupted.
And it's really cool about that is, one, you don't have to buy a really crazy expensive tuning kit that you have to learn how to use. You already have it.
You already have it. Yeah.
Right. And
it's flawless.
And with some basic understanding of like how you want to draw an EQ.
Sure. And you can, and the best part is you can sit there and you can play with it.
Yeah.
And you'll learn, I don't like that. I like this.
Yep. It's really great for those guys that are like, man, I really want to get into DSP, but I'm kind of scared. I don't know much about it.
Right.
This is a great way for them to get going.
Oh, once they experience the difference between regular, out of phase, non-corrected, and this, they're and $799.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
It's a steal.
Yeah.
Just the amp alone is worth that much. It's like you're getting a DSP for virtually nothing.
Oh yeah. Just $799 for a really good 8-channel amplifier.
8-channel
is about that's a pretty good deal. But the DSP in here alone, and on top of that, there's some other stuff behind the scenes. Like it's using what's called a VIR filter. It's the first in our industry.
Yes.
The auto EQ and phasing correction, all that is actually part of this VIR filter.
Yeah.
And it's very unique. We're the only ones that have it.
Yep.
And this technology that we're using for the auto EQ is also unique to us. It's I think it's a company that we have partnered with and we have exclusive rights to, and it's meant to be in a car. So for those of you who've been around forever, like John and I, so there was you remember Imprint back in the day,
Imprint.
right?
I remember that.
So Alpine years ago.
It was like 10, 12 years ago or something.
Oh, longer than that now.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh,
It was
I'm
like,
so old I forgot what day it is.
yeah. Well, you know what? Maybe about 13, 14 years ago. I think it's about smart. Yeah. Anyway.
I forget it was a 100 imprint or something.
Yeah, the H100. There's a few different. They had a few different.
And, that,
the 880,
and it was a good start. It was a good start.
Yeah, and there
Because
was
all that was the anti-EQ.
Yes, and it actually did some delay, auto delay.
It had some stuff in there.
But for those of you that have ever dabbled in home, and like have like a Denon or Marantz receiver or anything like that, and did your auto setup,
yeah,
it's the same thing. So Odyssey is the company that makes those.
Yes, okay.
And there's the Odyssey microphone that looks like a little pyramid.
Yeah.
That's exactly what Imprint used.
Yep.
We actually used Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
Odyssey works great for home.
Yes, it does.
For home.
Yes.
and there's advantages to it. One, it's simple. It's quick, simple,
Yep.
easy. I actually tuned a bunch of cars with Imprint back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
And it would take all your bass away, but there's tricks to get it back. But when you're done, you're locked in. That's your sound. Hope you like it, right? And now with this, you can still shape it.
Oh, yeah. You go through and
yeah.
you played with it, and it was unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah. So
very fun.
And Imprint was a really cool technology that was brought over from the home side. We made it work in car, but it was not perfect for car. It didn't stick around forever, because it didn't do too well, but that's okay. But we did it a long time ago. Alpine's always been pretty ahead with a lot of technology, right?
Absolutely.
And this is kind of another new technology because there's other stuff out there that is doing auto tuning and all that, but it's not at this price and not this simple.
Not this easy and not this cost friendly.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and this is like I said, this is for your mass majority of people out there. This is all you would need.
You could put this in, just about anything that where you can't change the head unit or you don't want to.
Yeah.
And man, it's going to be wonderful.
Oh yeah, yeah. For example, I did an install one of these in a Mazda CX-5 for one of our reps. It was his wife's car. We did S-Series S2 speakers, which are not expensive at all, and they sound fantastic. Phenomenal. They're unbelievable how good they sound. No. And they're also high res.
Yes, right.
They're now high res.
Yeah.
For $160 components.
Yes. I'm doing a set in a Jeep on Friday.
Yeah. They sound way too good for their price point, in my opinion.
Yes, they do.
And
sell a ton of them.
But if you pair up those speakers like we did in this Mazda with this, the only lopsided one was they used the R-Shallow, which is a pricier sub, but it delivers.
It really does.
It is a fantastic woofer. But that system was still.
Is he doing that new box with it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That system, even with its own amp,
stuff.
we did an S2A60 on it. Yeah, it's $2,000 of equipment. That's it.
And it sounds like $4,000.
Oh yeah, it sounds awesome. It sounded so good. And I've played you a demo with this on status speakers.
Yes.
Which status speakers are pretty nice.
Pretty darn nice.
Right now they're a lot more expensive than SS.
Sure.
But they perform really well.
Yeah. Your vehicle is nice.
This will still do correction on those.
All right.
Right? Because the vehicle is still a problem.
Yes.
Right? Now, you notice a bigger difference whenever you use something like S2 or R2 speakers. You're going to notice a bigger difference on those than with status. The status it's kind of a lopsided system. It kind of makes no sense. But hey, you can do it if you want. You can do whatever you want. So, but it's quick. It's simple. It's very effective, and for those of you that still want to tweak and do things manually, you still can do it.
That's right.
Yeah, you can even run all the auto, and I'd say do the heavy lifting for you, and then tweak on top of that. So you can still go in there and have 6 presets at your disposal, and you can still tweak on top of that.
And the four steps are easy. They're simple. Configure your system: 2 fronts, 2 backs, subwoofer, or you can do two tweets, 2 6.5s, mids, another, and then full range in the back doors. There are all these presets that you just basically pick. You go, oh yeah, and then you go down, and you can just do like one tweeter, but you can sync to the other tweeter, and you can knock it out in minutes. I think we had everything set up for the room within less than 5 minutes.
Yep. And I tell people the most time-consuming part of this, minus the install, is just doing the setup. Yeah. What I call mapping, the mapping of the system.
It was so easy.
And it's still not hard at all.
No, it was great. We had a great time, and check it out on Alpine-USA if you get a chance.
Yeah.
And we've got these in stock in Arlington at Audio Depot. don't forget it's 100 million degrees outside. Get your windows tinted.
Yes.
Do the smart thing and get some Llumar film. It's got the best warranty in the business, and it's not expensive. It's it takes about an hour and a half to do a sedan here, and we just do everything by appointment. So if you get a chance, give us a call at 817-466-2441, and our new website is shopaudiodepot.com, and we're online 24/7 for you. Anything else you'd like to add?
The only thing, I'll drop a little clue.
Oh, golden nugget coming.
Yeah.
What's up?
So, as you already know.
I know all.
Yeah, John already knows this, but so we call this the Optum 8, and as we see here, there's a number, there's an 8 in the name here. There you go. Yep, there you go. So I know the model number flows right off the tongue. PXE C80-88.
Yeah, somebody's
now.
It's not a human.
There's some context clues here. There'll be some future products coming. One later this year.
Yes.
And you'll see a different number on it that will actually represent how many channels it is. So
yes.
We do have another step down from this coming,
right,
which will be a little more cost effective. And we'll just leave it there.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
we
great.
are going to have a good fourth quarter.
Yes. And
a really good fourth quarter.
And what's really cool.
This is the beginning of third quarter.
This is, yeah. And this is, what we're saying, this is the beginning of what we call the Optum family.
Yes.
Right? So Optum 8 is this model. Next one, Optum 6. Oh, I said how many channels. It's okay. Right. We'll see what comes down in the future down after that. Right.
Yeah, we are all really excited to be able to easily make a car sound fantastic, even if you don't change the door speakers.
That's right.
I mean, this right here. So it's going to happen. It's already affordable. It's unbelievable. We're not going to have to. We're not going to have to like call a specialist. Hey, Dan, come on, tune my car.
Yeah.
No. It's in here. And then you go back afterwards, like you said, you can tweak it.
Yeah. And actually, you said something that's a great idea for those of you that are like, hey, this is great, but it's kind of pricey. Still, that's okay. You can do an upgrade path, right? You talk about stock speakers. If let's say you have a newer car and your stock speakers are okay.
Yeah.
You can get this and do it in steps, right? You can start with here.
Exactly. Oh yeah.
And then come back and do speakers and upgrade, and then just
So
do a
I had a customer today that bought an ILX 407. Okay, he didn't have the money to do. He wanted to do 5-channel amp, front, back speakers, and then it's up. And I said, well, you got to change out the head unit first.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
do that first.
Yeah.
And then come back, and then we'll do some Type S's. Okay, and then we'll do a sub.
Yeah.
And he'll eventually have the money.
Yeah.
And in the next, because he's not ready to do it just yet, but in about 3 or 4 months, he could get that Optum 6.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And we could just go to town.
Yeah, it's really cool because like I've always liked to let people know have an upgrade path, right?
Yes.
If you're not going to do it all in one shot, which is totally fine, totally normal.
Yep.
Having a good upgrade path, though, which also makes sure you're not going backwards at any point, right? You don't want to.
What I always tell them is don't do something that you will have to reverse, go backwards, and then you wasted money.
Yeah.
Like don't buy an LOC.
Yeah.
If you know you're going to change out the radio, just buy the radio.
Yep.
Don't buy the LOC and get it, line output converter and get it installed.
Yeah.
Just start at the front.
Yep.
Work your way to the back.
Yep.
You're never wasting time or money.
Yep.
And it's going to make everything sound better.
Yeah.
As needed.
Yeah.
And it's going to be fast.
Yeah. And you think about it. I mean, if you add this to a factory system, you can make it sound great.
Yeah, absolutely.
They come back and have speakers. You're not having to undo anything
we have,
you did.
And there are some, and you may need to get like an AP4 or something. You may need to get an interface for a more advanced, let's say 22, channel system. So there's some Ford trucks out there that have B&O systems, and they're not bad. But here's the knock on it: it's not loud.
No,
that's the problem. So you get the nav TV piece, or you get the pack piece.
Yeah.
Plug it in. Plug it into this.
Yep.
And that is all a distant memory.
Yep.
You can crank this stuff up, like you said, in phase.
Yeah.
Auto corrected.
Yep.
Period.
Yep.
And then I've got guys that are chomping at the bit to get out of that B&O system.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I actually messed with a brand new Raptor today with B&O.
Did you really?
It had B&O, but yeah, they have ceiling speakers now, headrest speakers.
Man, there's
it's awful.
It's just
it's horrible.
Why is this happening to me? Who designed this?
Oh, it's bad. Yeah, it's so bad. And we talked about like how they cut a lot of corners and save money in OEM systems.
There's so many problems.
So their solution now and it's always been is, hey, just add more speakers. More speakers makes it louder because they don't have budget to have more power.
Right.
You know,
so can't put an amp in.
Yeah, they can't put a bigger amp in.
Yeah,
and they're not going to run a bigger power wire to their amp. They don't want to have tax the alternator anymore because then it messes up the fuel economy, which is not true. And yeah, so. And they also, and a lot of people don't, you know, for those, you know, Alpine actually makes a lot of OEM systems.
60% of Alpine's business has always been in OEM.
Yeah.
The company, so this is how it works with Alpine. We are the test laboratory. Okay, what we are, we're the 12-volt guys. So then Steve Brown says, hey, you know, we got to do something over here. Okay, so we get a nice product. Once we know that it's just awesome, then it goes over to the OEM side 3 years later. Yeah.
Generally.
It depends on the car and the tooling.
Yeah.
But it is very possible that if they have a success with something, it'll eventually end up over there.
Yeah.
You know,
like a CarPlay, wireless CarPlay, stuff like that moved over.
So it all started with CarPlay.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Alpine has a unique relationship with Apple. Okay, and they have a whole division or group of guys up in right down the street from the campus. Up, you know, and that's all they've ever done. You know, the very first wireless Apple CarPlay unit came in an Alpine radio.
The 107. Yep.
And I was the first person to broadcast that because Stevie Brown came on the show.
Nice.
I had a scoop, man.
Nice.
I was the very first person. He goes, I'm going to tell you something that I haven't told anybody, and we're not. And he goes, and I just got off the phone, and they said I could tell you. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Uh-oh.
He goes, wireless CarPlay, and I'm like, I love you, man.
I remember. I remember when it was coming out. Everyone was like,
cool,
man, it'd be great if I didn't have to plug my phone in.
I just hate this cable.
Yeah. So.
Anyways, that'll pretty much do it for us, you guys. Thank you for listening. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and think about getting some Alpine products. They've got a whole bunch of new technology coming real soon. And it's most impressive.
It's really cool.
It's really cool. And if you ever get a chance to visit a car audio competition and there's an Alpine vehicle there, do yourself a favor and go check it out. You can go to they call it the road show.
Yes.
Okay. So they have vehicles all
the road show is the training you went to.
Well, no, I thought that they called it
experience events.
Experience events. I'm sorry. So they say, okay, like you will be somewhere with Mark Sartain in Houston, and then the next week you're in Tulsa or whatever, and you can actually find where they're going to be.
Check
it out.
There's a chance that we might be coming close to you. Just follow on their Facebook page.
Just go to Alpine and their Facebook page, and you'll love it.
Yep.
All right. Well, everybody, have a good evening, and we will see you in the near future. Adios.
Thank you.